Fuck it, we'll do it live.
Fuck it, we'll do it live.
Fuck it, we'll do it
Fuck
live.
it, we'll do it live.
I am Jackson.
I'm Pat.
I am Garrett.
I am unfortunately D, like usual.
And on today's episode of Stumbling Down History Road, we're going to be covering Coca-Cola. Not sponsored.
Cocaine?
We're going to be covered
Yes,
by
Cocaine-a-Cola.
Cocaine.
Not sponsored.
Pure Colombian Coca-Cola.
So, we have two somewhat collectors. They got pretty decent collections.
Yes.
And then two fucking assholes.
And I'm going to let you try and guess which two is which two.
He
It's
kind
not
of
going to be hard.
already waved
Well,
at us.
one of us is wearing a hint.
Or, I mean, he kind of just waved in the general vicinity of all of us.
All right, so talk to me
Jazzy
about Coca-Cola.
So Coca-Cola is a product that started in Georgia in the early 1800s.
1886 to be precise.
The late 1800s.
Creator was John S. Pemberton, which
Doctor.
Well, that's debatable.
Mr. Doctor.
So he basically
He had an honorary doctorate.
so it's loosely speculated that he more or less paid his way to become a doctor, just like any good politician.
He's
I
a
was
whale
just going to say,
biologist.
based off of the recent events that have unfolded, that we've all seen in the news, it seems like a lot of wealthy people are paying for educations for their offspring. So I guess this guy was ahead of his time, not only in making Coca-Cola product, but in how to fuck the system.
It also didn't even start off as a Coca-Cola product. It
didn't.
started off as
Medicine.
A medicine.
yes.
yeah.
So it started off as Dr. Pemberton's French wine
Cola.
cola. Was
Yeah.
it? Yeah, French wine cola.
wine
No,
cola.
Coca.
French
No.
fried
No,
cola.
it wasn't cola.
It wasn't cola. You're
It
right. It
wasn't
was Coca.
cola. They
French
added
wine
cola.
Coca. They added
French
cola
wine
because
Coca.
they complained about the taste. This is too sour.
Yeah, it was.
Make
it was bitter.
sweeter. So
It was
he
too
added.
bitter.
It was bitter,
He
yeah.
added syrup.
He added the caffeine was
And
part of the
syrup.
original recipe. So I guess the combination of the
11
not
herbs and
Coke,
spices.
not Coke part of the cocoa plant that was being derived. to
No, it
make
was cola. It was a cola seed.
It was a cola seed, but the cola
That's
seed.
where that's where he
no,
got.
but the cola seed is the caffeine part.
Yeah, that's where he got the caffeine. That's what you were talking about, right?
Yeah. No, but I'm saying so because it wasn't. I guess
Closer to the
it
mic.
wasn't technically cocaine. It was a derivative of. It was a derivative of the plant, so it wasn't actually like, you're gonna snort it and fucking.
We were talking about the caffeine additive,
No,
which
I know.
came from the cola.
Plant.
I thought it
cola
came from the
seed.
cocaine part.
But you're
No,
you're
that
jumping
was-
ahead because we're not at them adding the name
You
cola.
said caffeine.
No,
Yes.
because caffeine was a part of the original
Play it back.
recipe.
Play it back. Get in
That's
the
what I
comments.
said.
Play it back.
Yeah, I said caffeine was a part of the original recipe, but it wasn't a part of the name.
Yeah. So he found out that they were trying to do away with the French wine and Prohibition. That was coming out. So he was like, "Shit, I got to make a soda."
He knew how to.
Wait, so it was originally booze?
as Gary put before, beat the system, in essence.
Gary?
That's whatever.
This-
I'll take Gary. Somebody called me Greg the other day. I was right.
Hi, Greg.
And this
But-
is Jason, my consigliere.
But yeah, so he found out that Prohibition was coming along, and he went from a French wine and turned it into,
Coke.
well, not quite that, but yes.
Started going down that path. First medicine with, if you know the original formula had cocaine in it.
And
Well.
cocaine accessories.
That wouldn't go with accessories
Well-
till later on.
It also had actual cola seeds in it and shit, but they ended up, dialing that back way much, and now it's effectively none.
Actually, you know who sold cocaine accessories that also sells Coca-Cola? McDonald's.
McDonald's.
They had the little Coke spoons for their coffee.
Yeah. You ever go up to a McDonald's window and you say, "Hey, let me get a Coke. Let me get some Coke, but I don't want a cup. I don't want an ice. I just want a straw." Okay. So on with the story. So after Prohibition was going to start being introduced, as we had mentioned, right?
Yeah.
We mentioned Prohibition,
now-
how we got out of the French wine and went into
Yes.
starting
Into
with
the
the
soda.
This
medicine.
is starting the soft drink industry.
Medicine first.
Well,
and
medicine,
then
yeah. Well,
soft
because it was
drinks.
always technically, I guess, marketed as a medicine in the beginning.
Yeah, I
as
mean,
the
it-
French,
it was-
as
it
the
was
French
meant-
Coke wine thing.
Yeah,
that
it was sold
marketed
as a cure-all, effectively.
yeah.
helps with this, helps with the.
To
this day,
it'll
it's-
still clean the garage.
To this day, it's still cure-all for a lot of things. You need to get the rust off of your car? This will work.
Yep.
You need to annoy your boss? Put Mentos in the Coke.
Yeah.
You want a rocket? Put Mentos in the Coke.
Do you have crippling caffeine addiction? Yeah, probably need Coke.
Yep.
Or coffee. But this is the better choice.
This is a better choice.
Allegedly.
Nah.
Better choice. This one won't make your teeth yellow,
yeah,
but
that's fine.
much more
So-
chemicals.
Coffee makes me
When
poop.
did they start making Santa clones and axolotl tanks? Well,
What are you on right now?
Can I have some?
as we established in the Christmas episode, Coca-Cola invented Santa and then makes Santa clones using Ixion technology and axolotl tanks.
Ah, you mean the Santa Claus ads that came with the polar bears? Well,
Sure.
the Santa Claus and polar bears weren't introduced until the early 1900s for Coca-Cola, where, yes, if you are a conspiracy theorist, that has been proven with the Santa clones and the axolotl technology. Because so many people want Santa
It's a
Claus.
Dune reference. If you're trying to figure out what I'm referencing with the axolotl tanks.
He's
late
not wrong.
Dune
They
reference.
do have mods for it, for Doom, as he is referencing.
No. Dune. Like the
The Sand People.
Yes. Doom is the one where there's demons on Mars. It's easy to get the two mixed up
Yeah.
if you're.
If-
yeah.
Somebody
If-
explain to me what the fuck you're talking about, please. Because I'm interested. I just
We're
have no clue.
two movies that
Well, yeah, two very separate sci-fi franchises, and he got them mixed up. One of them is
Well, I'm not just. So what's the axolotl and the Santa Claus?
An axolotl is a lizard.
So
Amphibian.
What's
Okay.
what's the
In-
whole conspiracy?
in. Okay, I made a joke where I just kind of came up with a random bullshit origin of Santa.
there's
Oh.
a bunch of Coca-Cola's in a lot of things.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of conspiracy theories with it where the first Santa Claus came from. Coca-Cola essentially made the first one in the early 1900s with the polar bear.
Well,
I would
So
say
they're
that they
saying that
originated like the first modern design of Santa.
yeah, like the red,
Yeah.
red,
Oh,
and
like
white
how
suit.
we-
and
the-
yeah, they're,
how
they're the
we-
ones who kind of
How we
How we
Yeah.
depict him now.
gotcha.
And but the axolotl tanks comes up later in the Dune books. If you read them, they're used for cloning. So I'm saying that they make clones of Santa to like ship out to malls and stuff. Yeah.
which was never actually in the Christmas episode. He's just being a fucking twit.
Which Coke is still using Santa to this day.
Oh,
so
yeah.
if you
That's
want
one
to
of
view
their,
them as
polar
clones,
bears.
that's fine. They just constantly change his outfit and logo and slogan every year for Christmas. That's why he's in the Hess commercials.
So yeah, 1886.
Oh.
Dr. Pendleton.
made Coca-Cola, and then he turned and then he turned it into a soda.
Well, no, it wasn't even originally called Coca-Cola. It
Coca-Cola.
was just a what did he call it? Like a cola-based syrup. Dr. Pendleton's Miracle Cola-based syrup.
It was
And
just
it was-
cola-based syrup that didn't. He had the glass syrup bottles,
And
it
he
was
ended
a
up
cure-all
bringing.
for if you have brain cancer, if you have blood cancer, if you feel like going to the war but not dying, try this first.
Do you have
No,
ghost
that
in
would
your
be
veins?
meth.
Do you have ghost in your veins? Because it cures ghost in your veins.
If you want to go to the war and not die, you use the meth.
Fun
this
fact.
is essentially
Opium.
his second
Opium.
option
That's
for
what's
that because, as explained, once the soda was made, they had cocaine in the original formula.
Fun fact also, he was on heavy amounts of morphine. He suffered a huge laceration in the Civil War during a battle and damn near died.
Who's this?
Dr.
Pendleton.
Pembleton.
Oh, Dr. Templeton. Are we
And
still talking about Coca-Cola?
Yes.
Yes.
I was fucking around.
And he he was on huge amounts of morphine. I mean, lots of morphine. And he, brought it up to this soda dispenser guy and was like, hey, you want to sell this for me? Give it a try, see how well it does. And it ended up doing great.
Well,
That
first,
was Chandler Griggs.
first
was
they went
who
to. Didn't
the
his
dispenser
accountant
was.
came up with the
No, that was
The
after the
name-
fact.
well, like the name and everything, name change and stuff.
Sure, but that was after he got it into
The dispensary
the
from
dispensary.
Chandler.
And the only
Griggs.
reason I bring him up is because later on down the story it becomes relevant for all of like 5 seconds.
Before Chandler Griggs gets bought out by, I don't remember the brothers' names. He
It
gets
wasn't the brothers. It was Carldal? Carldal? I can't pronounce his last name.
yeah.
But so he ends up, doing really well with this. A traveling.
Well, not true, because it said that in the first year they only sold like very little amounts of fucking.
I'm not saying like great, but back in
You
the
said
time,
they did very well. No, it took it took a while before. In the first year they did basically nothing.
Everything kind of sucks in the first year.
Yeah,
Yeah, just look at you.
I mean I still suck.
See,
I'm fucking 40 and I still suck.
we can just put that anywhere.
I'm bald. Yeah. Well,
How old are you?
I'm 28.
I didn't ask that. He asked that.
Oh, 28.
Don't look at me.
Look at the mic.
I'm ugly.
But yeah, so
As they explained, not much happened in the first year. In 18.
they can't see that. You got to put it in front of the, like that.
Oh, Jesus. So I got to stretch now.
Yes.
I think all bottle
Exercise.
shapes are sexy.
If only we had a female displaying the bottles, that would be better.
I am bottle positive here.
Look, he is secure enough in his masculinity that he is a female today. I think that's how that works, right?
Yeah.
I don't know.
He can identify as one and then bam.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Why are you being so phobic? I don't know what type of phobic, but
Gender
phobic.
bias. Gender
That's
seclusion.
you're getting canceled from this podcast right now.
You're getting
There's a bottle
1899.
spectrum.
Right.
1899. That's this one, right?
Yes.
You need the.
You have 1899 through the current bottle. Even though the year down here says 1957, this is still the bottle we have today. Why
If you
they've-
can find a glass bottle.
glass bottle.
Yes.
Only the Mexican Coke ones.
I think also the Israeli ones too, because the kosher ones also.
Yes. They're still in distribution. Even
Racist.
Well,
though. Yeah.
no, that wouldn't be great. That would technically be anti-Semitic, but yeah, whatever.
I was talking about
Same
saying the
fucking
Mexican
shit.
cola.
Racism is racism. Oh, it can't be fucking racist.
But-
It's anti-Semitic. It's not racist. What's the fucking difference?
Either way.
You're
I
gonna
mean, I
get us
guess-
canceled.
Technically, Jewish isn't a race; it's a culture. So it'd be more of a.
If you hate on somebody,
Okay,
it's
so,
fucking.
so we
it's
went
just-
from
Alright.
this to cancel culture.
This is getting
if
cut.
you're hating on somebody, it's the same, you know, like it's fucking semantics. It's fucking
Semetics?
anti-Semitics.
These anti-Semitic.
It's
semantics.
anti-semantics.
Anywho's it's.
You have
So-
a bunch of different bottles. The first one they went with, which Jackson pointed to before, is the 1899 one. They changed numerous bottles and numerous Specerian script during the years. We're still currently on the final one here from 1957 to today in 2023. Yes, they've been around over 100 years. If you're one of the fortunate people to have one of the 100th anniversary bottles, keep that. If you're one of the ones that has the golden one, it's not real gold. Stop kidding yourself.
Shots fired.
I will continue to kid myself.
So, as we were saying about Dr. Pembleton distributing his syrup at said pharmacy.
Which was this bottle.
Yes. We don't need to talk about the bottle specifically. We already
We
talked
don't
about
talk
it.
about Bruno.
I'm saying for the syrup content. That was the bottle that I first
Yes,
came in.
we already talked about the bottle. So, after he started selling it, he got one guy, what was his name, that came in and started helping with the advertising?
Chandler Griggs, and then he had the other guy. Chandler Griggs was a distributor. Then he had the two brothers that came in for advertising. I can never pronounce their damn names. But they bought Griggs out when they went into the bottle distribution.
I was referencing something with an R. His last name being an R. It was like Frank Richards or Frank something like that. he helped come up with the name Coca-Cola.
Cola, yes.
Yes, the attorney, which I was talking to you about before. The accountant.
Yes, the
Yes, the
accountant, and
accountant.
he was like, "Hey, I can help out with figuring out advertising." He came up with what some consider the first promotional coupon, where in terms of distribution and in terms of getting it away, it was like, "Hey, you can have a coupon for 2 free drinks."
Dos at 2 free drinks.
Yes,
Yes, two free drinks, which was
at the time expensive.
nowadays.
A nickel is a nickel.
It was a nickel.
It was a nickel.
Exactly one nickel. Yes.
I mean, as they would say back in the 1910s, I'm not gay, but a nickel is a nickel.
You know what they also say? You know, I'm the gayest when I'm smoking on a fag.
That's getting cut. And Brits and their offensive stuff.
we'll see what actually makes it.
How the?
Editor,
That is not
check this out.
offensive. Why do we have to cut the good stuff?
It'll
All I
be
said
too
was I'm the
offensive.
happiest when I'm smoking a cigarette.
It's not what you said.
That's read between the
That
lines.
is equivalent of what he said.
Just read between the lines.
That's exactly what will happen, which is why half of the stuff has to get cut because
Nope.
people
If-
are overly sensitive.
If you've seen the psychedelics episode, you know a lot of things get left in that probably shouldn't have gotten left in.
I haven't gotten around to that one, which means I'll have to get around to
But he
that
has seen some of ours.
As
Which is
long
better
as
than
my mom
you.
doesn't see this,
Our mom knows about it. She just puts them on silent in the background when she sleeps.
one. We have rated R. So kids that are under 18, give this a go. If you have parents'
Wait a minute.
permission or not, we don't care.
Look, if it's on YouTube, it has to be good for kids. That's what I learned.
I
and
mean,
it also has to
it-
Check out the
Yes.
Spider-Man and Elsa.
I was literally about to reference that shit.
and it has to be fucking true.
Spider-Man
It's on
is
the
pregnant
internet.
from Elsa. It's facts. I saw it in a YouTube video. They wouldn't lie, would they?
Never.
People lying on the internet? Nah, that's whack.
Doesn't happen.
So,
All right, so back to the ingenious that was the branding of Coca-Cola, because I think we've kind of
yeah, so what he wanted
done
was he
the
wanted an
longest
alliteration.
synopsis of how Coca-Cola
So what he
became
wanted
Coca-Cola.
So what he wanted was the advertising guy. He wanted a alliteration.
Advertising gay.
I just know the guy who was an immigrant who invented, not invented, but added the
Why does he have to be an immigrant?
corn syrup.
Wrong. So
Oh, no, I'm thinking of the
Oh.
guy who was an immigrant who did Flaming Hot Cheetos.
Oh no, that guy added the fucking.
No, because there was like, it was like this whole big thing about when they went from real sugar to corn syrup, and it was one guy's idea.
are we talking about New Coke?
No, that's actually completely different.
That's 1986.
That's a whole different thing.
Yes.
That was a
Woohoo.
bit before that. New Coke was actually supposed to be a not diet version Coke, but it was supposed to taste more like Diet Coke, which is typically people find to taste more preferable or something based
Yes.
off research. It was weird.
The
at the time.
Diet Coke is supposed to be healthier for you, better tasting, and better for your health and body.
Not sponsored.
Yeah, none of these drinks we're having are sponsored, but if you have to pick,
If you want to sponsor us, Coke, you're probably making a bad choice, but we'll take the money.
gladly. And if you listen to another person, also not sponsored for us, called The Kiffness, he has a song for the Coke guy. Drink regular Coke. That is the number one choice. Do not drink diet. Do not drink sugar-free. Drink regular. If you think any of the other options are healthier, you're horribly mistaken. They have more chemicals and do not taste as good. If you have the other flavors, that's fine. Cherry vanilla, cherry, strawberry.
We were talking about the history of.
This is
I
still
mean,
in
this
the
is
history.
still
They
it's topical.
branched out and went into multiple other different.
Well, I
they
mean, we're
made-
talking about a song.
It's a topical.
They made
It's a
Diet
topical
Pepsi
cream.
as a direct competition to regular. I
Well,
mean,
ask
Diet
the
Coke is a
judges.
competition to Pepsi because they're trying to find a different alternative to or something
Judges
that
give
Pepsi.
it okay.
Yeah, they're trying to expand the market. That's Diet Coke was literally just a market expansion tool.
It's
It
all
wasn't
just a
like
fucking
because they're
marketing,
trying to be
yeah.
healthy.
What? If you look at If you look at Diet Coke and you look at the sugar-free Coke, they're the same fucking nutritional facts. Pretty much exactly the same.
Interestingly enough, the Pepsi challenge, people actually preferred on repeated sips Coca-Cola more to Pepsi, finding that Pepsi was more sweeter and making it far less palatable. It was like the first
Pepsi-
initial sip, people kind of preferred Pepsi more to Coke, but upon repeated sips and more, it became people preferred Coke better.
Coke is more
It's-
crisp. That's what I think. It's more.
Yeah.
It's got more of like a
That
crisp.
said, hold on. That said, Pepsi, if you want to sponsor us as well,
Go fuck yourself.
Well, Pepsi makes Mountain Dew, which is the gamer drink.
Pepsi, if you want to
Yes,
sponsor
that
us
is
as
true.
well,
What?
we'll accept your
Pepsi distributes
sponsorship.
Mountain Dew.
What'd you say after that?
It is the gamer drink. Mountain Dew is the gamer drink. Yeah.
I
Although now,
heard the
I'm sorry.
first.
Monster's the domestic violence drink. Kyle.
G Fuel. That's the one that's a gamer drink. But
Monster.
as I was saying,
Monsters.
Pepsi, if you want to sponsor us, we won't turn it away.
Yes, we
It's
will.
weird that you're going to want to sponsor us on the Coca-Cola episode, but whatever.
I mean, we haven't really been
Wait, wasn't
up
there
talking
a,
Coke that well.
I've been trying.
There's a Coca-Cola
Jackwagon.
ad that I think they like.
There was a Coca-Cola ad? No
That
way.
they shot
Thinking
back-
of
The
Ryan
company-
Reynolds actually stole from
like
Coca-Cola.
like piggybacking off
He
of like
still
the
is.
Pepsi.
Sadly.
Are you talking about the company that spends billions of dollars a year on advertisement? That Coca-Cola advertisement ad? No way.
well, I'm
They
talking.
didn't have a Super Bowl commercial this year or
Shocking.
last year, shockingly.
Although-
but Pepsi did, which means they're not buying as much.
Either
So
that,
Coke wins.
or the rest of the Pepsi subsidiary, because they own Yum
Let's check the
Brands,
stocks.
is doing well.
Yum Brands typically performs pretty well
Yeah.
based off stocks, so that's a whole
They
different
own
story.
way more than people think. Pepsi.
Interesting fact. Do you know why Coca-Cola is so intertwined with Ghostbusters?
Because they own Ghostbusters?
Yes, they kind of
Yes,
did.
they
They owned
do.
Columbia Pictures.
Yeah.
They're still owning Columbia Pictures to this day.
Do they still own?
They still own.
Yeah.
So, let's get back into
More
this.
weird commercials.
But Dr. Pemberton ends up getting really, really sick. He ends up needing to make money because the Coke
Gotta make
ends up
that money.
because the Coke ends up being like, eh. So he ends up selling 2/3 of the rights to the guy that initially started distributing it, the first pharmacy, the
Yes.
first soda jockey,
First pharmacy.
the first soda jerk, as it was called back then.
Why could you say soda jerk, but I can't say I'm fucking gay when I'm smoking on a fag?
One is much worse.
Nope. What do you think?
I think jerk is a very offensive term.
See,
Oh, Lord.
I appreciate you.
I don't know why I invite you guys.
Well, we have soda clerks.
Established lore.
He reoccurs on every episode.
Like
he
I
is
said,
he is a
I'm just kind of the
standing-
second mic now.
Oh, at this point, yes, because
He's here all the time.
this
I'm
is
on,
the 13th
I'm
episode.
on episode 3.5.
this is more than 13. This would be 18.
This is
Oh,
episode
Lord.
18.
Yeah.
Damn.
Episode
I gotta
25 or
catch
do our
up again.
25 shot challenge.
Really?
25,
18?
25 shots.
Oh, Lord.
It's either 17 or 18. I know last one was one before
He
this.
stopped putting numbers on it.
Yeah.
That's what I do. I'm a numbers person.
No,
So
he
No,
whenever-
no,
stopped putting
I
numbers.
stopped putting numbers
So
on
whatever
Oh.
number episode you did last time, we're one more this time.
it. Uh-huh.
Call back to last numbered episode X.
And then I guess next week you'll be one more than this week.
Is that how that works? Please continue to explain how weeks work for me.
Can we go back to Coca-Cola now?
I don't know, can we?
I don't know.
You
I
know, we
think
didn't do our first 5-minute tase challenge.
But nobody wants that.
Fuck it, we'll do it live.
Oh, Lord.
I'm going to stab them.
Yeah, it's funny for like guy who doesn't carry a knife.
If really, really,
You ever,
It,
you
it's
ever
fine.
Heard
He has a bunch of heavy
You ever heard the
metal
joke
and
about the
glass
duck?
objects.
He walks into a bar, asks the bartender if he has any grapes. And over the course of a couple days, he goes to the bartender,
That's a song. Waddle waddle.
got any grapes? You know,
Then he
and
walked away. Waddle waddle.
So Duck
Then
goes
he
in
waddled
one day,
away.
the bartender
Yeah,
goes,
waddle,
hey
waddle.
bartender, you got any grapes? Bartender goes, hey, don't ask me about this anymore. I'm going to staple your fucking little duck.
Got any staples?
Yeah. Got it? No, you got
No.
a stapler? No. Got any grapes?
Oh Lord.
As it turns out, that's the the duck song from YouTube. Shout out to YouTube. Number 4.
By the way, you can't say shout out to Susan anymore. She's quitting.
What?
Yeah, Susan's retiring.
Susan, no.
We loved you, Susan.
Who's Susan, an accountant?
Susan Wojcicki.
She was the CEO of YouTube.
Oh,
She was actually the person
Okay,
who
then.
suggested that Google buy
Susan down
YouTube
in
initially.
really?
Yeah, that's actually how she
Huh.
got the job.
What happened? She
Oh, that
blew
makes
the guy?
sense.
Who knew
That's
the guy?
sexist.
She
But-
blew the girl?
Anyway,
But Dr. Pemberton, he ends up
I
getting
should
rid
tell you
of.
my favorite bar joke about the horse
Tell it.
later.
There's no better fucking time. He's gonna bleep it out anyway.
Oh Lord.
I'm I'm not doing the actual horse joke.
See? All right.
I'll tell you
So-
the
I
horse joke.
realized you had sound effects.
For the sake of,
Yeah, we had a whole
Jackson
thing
not
about where
killing us.
I made the.
let's go back.
Wasn't it strolling down history road?
No, it's
I
stumbling.
mean, we could talk about how Ryan Reynolds stole from Coca-Cola.
Whoops.
He stole a whole movie idea.
So technically, you've been watching the wrong podcast.
Yeah, you're watching the other guy strolling down History Road. This is stumbling down his.
Oh, for God's sake.
And our occasional tripping down side quests.
You have sub-series now.
Kind of,
Yeah.
sort of, unofficially, yes. I also was trying to convince him to do a third sub-series.
Subsidiaries of. All right. Let's get serious.
Let's get physical.
I was
Physical.
gonna say hey, let's get dangerous. Darkwing. Now that we both got.
The laughs.
We're having fun. Some of us are.
You're gonna need a refill.
The longer this goes on, the longer you guys stay here. You know this, right?
I'm having fun.
Yeah, are we not having
Isn't
fun?
that the point?
I just want to talk.
Yeah,
Talk,
we're
man,
entertaining.
enjoy. You're just sitting there disappointed.
You could totally fucking interject with your own bullshit too. You know that, right?
Jackson fucking looks like somebody stole his Coca-Cola.
Which
He's
is what we're
almost
supposed
out
to
of
be
his
talking
drink.
about.
Yep, there it goes.
And it's, I mean,
Somebody get this man another Diet Coke.
It's not.
although if you've read American Psycho, you know that a Diet Pepsi is much better for a mixed drink.
As we stated, Coke is a superior drink choice.
Coke is definitely far superior.
In
It
terms
definitely would kick.
I prefer regular Coke to regular Pepsi, but I prefer Diet Coke to Diet Pepsi. Wait.
It's the same thing.
Strike that.
Fuck, I meant
Reverse it.
All I'm going to say is I prefer whoever's sponsoring us. This could be you, ad agency.
This could be you. Insert name here.
So,
Okay. So, now,
Pemberton ends
Pemberton-
up,
He sells the
Cumberfuck.
drinks because he was sick.
he sells 2/3 of the title, which he didn't actually have claim to sell.
Wait, how the
2/3.
fuck do you not have claim to your own shit you invented
Don't
like
question that.
So the guy that was doing
Ignore
the
that
ad,
statement.
that? This is America.
the guy that was doing the
Not for
ad,
him.
work for him. They had a backhanded closed door deal of splitting it. So he ends up trying to sue Pemberton. Pemberton's like, nah, bro,
I'm
I
dying."
own Coke. You bought into Pemberton Pharmacies. You own half of that. and then
Nothing
the
ever
lawyers were like, nah, man, he's right. You have half of that. This is totally different.
well, you
So he
suck.
gets fucked.
Yeah.
And then
Badly.
yeah. And then he ends up working for the guy that ends up buying it.
So
Small
he became
world.
Santa's elf. It's a small world after all. Sorry.
So he ends up buying.
No more digressing. I think we've lost all our digressing.
Privileges.
So he ends up working for the guy that ends up buying this. He tracks down the guy that the
And he
pharmacy,
fucking killed him.
With
This
a
is
tracks
not
down-
John Wick.
the pharmacy guy.
with a pencil?
In the laboratory?
He tracks down the pharmacy guy that buys the 2/3 from Pemberton And he's like, nah, bro, I already sold it to these brothers. He buys it off of the brothers, and then he tracks down Pemberton and is like,
And he
yo,
kills him.
I want the rest of this. On his fucking deathbed. A week later, Pemberton dies.
Duh.
R.I.P.
What do you think happens?
Wait, press F in chat.
Yep.
F in chat for Pemberton.
Press X to doubt. I don't think he really died. I think he's a ghost.
Do you have any?
Was it press H to grieve?
I don't get those, but that's
I don't
me.
either. It's cool.
Okay.
But just yeah. Jackson's actually
smile and
talking
nod.
so good.
Okay,
Smile
so the
and nod.
press F thing it's a meme that from a video game where it's like press F to pay respects to a person. And then it's like, so whenever somebody, it's you press F in the chat to pay respects.
And the press X to doubt is another video game thing.
I'm pretty sure that one's LA Noire.
I don't know.
The F to the F in one I don't
I'm
remember.
a gamer, but I don't know all the gaming terms.
All right, I don't know what the fuck these guys are talking about.
It's a
Yes.
meme.
They too are gamer girls.
It's an old meme, but it checks out.
This is a gamer girl. Peak gamer girl physique.
You might not like it, but this is what peak performance looks like.
This is what peak physical performance looks like.
I don't know if you noticed.
Balding
but my
and
thumbs
beard.
did 36,000 reps.
But
They're like tiny biceps.
what was his name?
That's
the guy
a
that ends
Scrubs
up buying it
reference.
for a while.
Pemberton.
No. After Pemberton died, you had Greg Chandler,
this fucking
which
guy.
bought it from him for a record steal of a price back then.
Oh,
At-
that
Yeah,
explains
that
why
was-
he was so rich in Friends.
At a record steal back then, which was $2, which back then is $1 million. Nowadays,
Nowadays,
Here,
it gets you a
here.
Coca-Cola.
Wait,
$2.
$2 is $1 million. What?
$2. He got a $1 million company now. Back then, for $2.
Well, no, back
So
then
he
he
got
paid
the
the equivalent
orig-
of $1 million.
So
$'cause
$1 million
was-
back then would be how much today?
No.
Well, nobody had $1 million.
$2. He got Coca-Cola from Pemberton for $2 back then.
How
The
the,
same
fuck does
company
$2
he
equivalent
got-
to $1 million today?
Because Coca-Cola is now worth
Because
over $1
we're
million.
living in the world of.
Coca-Cola's
Essentially, that and good business ethics.
On one guy, it seems like he fucked another guy in the butt.
Oh, you're serious? Let me laugh even harder. Ah! Good business ethics. This is American capitalism. There is no good business ethics. It's like that Adam Sandler movie.
I was just gonna say,
I'll take business ethics.
Hold on.
The guy
So the
completely
puppy
fucks it.
was like the like the economy.
right.
He was scared.
Sorry.
Let's just have a
You
call
are all
back.
now made dumber for having to listen to that.
Yes.
I award you no points. And
You're
may
dumber
God
for listening to this
have mercy on your
podcast.
soul.
Let's just have a call back.
Simple wrong would have.
No, that's fine.
Jackson's trying to talk. It's all good.
Let's just have a call back to the Joseph Stalin and communism. It's not like that's much better.
No. No.
See, you guys
No.
are talking about some like high sensitive shit. So that probably got super fucking.
I don't
We're
get me
talking
wrong.
about
I hate
Coca-Cola.
capitalism, but
The
I
healthiest
also
place in the world.
hate communism.
One at a time, please.
Sorry.
Next.
Back to the $2 for buying it. and
All right, so
whatnot.
Yes.
we got the $2.
Greg Chandler got it for $2, which was great, until he went, I have no way of giving this to people. I don't have this in a bottle. I have no way to ship this anywhere. I'm stuck to just having it in this one general area. How do I fix this? Then two lovely jackasses come in and go, we have a proposition for you. We can ship them in milk cartons. And that was when the bottling first started from the two brothers with an R, as Jackson mentioned before. They sold the original bottling plans for shipping
No.
it out.
Oh, that's not what happened.
They
They
bought
weren't
out
brothers.
from
Okay,
him,
so
yes.
They weren't
Before-
brothers. One of it was Whitehead, and the other
all right, go.
one of them was something Whitehead, and the other one was something Thompson. And they bought the licensing for bottling, which
Now, after
which
the
Shadler-
R brothers.
which
Yeah, but all right, so we guys kind of like glossed over I had to look it up because I forgot the guy's name.
Yeah, of course you did.
Yeah, well, I mean, I just smoked a bunch of weed now.
Call back to marijuana episode.
Prior to that, I've smoked a bunch of weed. But anyway,
Sounds like a
Why did
personal
Coca-Cola
issue.
commit
it
some
sounds
war
like a skill
crimes?
issue to you. Fuck you, because you put me on here.
Personal is what I said.
No, it sounds like a skill issue, as Max would say.
Call back.
Call back to Max. So anyway, this
There
guy
is no
Frank
established
Robinson,
Max.
who was
I need to drink more.
Pemberton's bookkeeper, was the guy who actually came up with the name Coca-Cola.
Yeah, we said that.
No, we never did say that.
Yes, we did.
No,
Yes.
We might have.
I don't think we did. We
We
never
did.
actually mentioned that.
Yes. Yes.
Check the tapes.
We'll have to check the tape.
Check the comments.
Comment section.
Why
I
did
said
that come
that.
up in the comment section?
Because it would prove a point.
Okay, then.
Because we have our stenographer over there. He's taking fucking minutes.
As it turns out, people like to prove each other wrong on the internet.
By the way,
welcome
if
to the
anybody-
internet.
If anybody wants to
Ugh.
put an amusing dub to this, you
Because you
totally
kn-
can.
Because you never spoke about how he came up with the actual signature script. And all
Sure,
that stuff.
I never said that he actually came up with the signature script. However, we didn't even really talk about the guy that bought it from Pemberton, because that's when he came up with the signature script so that it would be harder to steal. But the name Coca-Cola, I mentioned how it came up from the accountant, and I didn't say why, other than he liked alliterations, because you jackasses kept fucking talking.
We never got around to the name because that's when jumped in with.
But yes. So we both mentioned the accountant,
Oh,
but we didn't really touch on it because we
Oh.
were jumping all over it.
The accountant sounds like a character in a shitty drama.
It does.
Oh. Oh.
Yeah.
next.
That's gonna come up a lot.
So,
We'll go to swiping.
swiper, no swiping.
No.
I don't know how to add swipe screens.
We're working
I
on
don't
that.
either.
We're working on getting a better editor. We're not working on it.
I mean, I was considering. I have a few proposals for fun stuff when the channel expands, but you know.
Is it showing your nipples?
Oh, please, God, no.
Is it showing my nipples?
Well, apparently we're getting
Please.
we're getting like a foreign language dub feature where you could have people do like
Who
foreign.
the fuck is gonna do this?
We will pay somebody to do a side podcast in a foreign language that just dubs over whatever we do.
We'll ask Jackie.
So we'll have like French guys doing a whole thing over our podcast in French that has nothing to do with it, but it's just kind of going slightly about the topic. It's a fun idea.
This is all getting cut.
So kind of like the
Fuck it, we'll do it live.
the Ninja Warrior from Korea from
Yeah,
China.
yeah.
And it's just the two random commentators just
Talking over it
random
instead of the other
yeah.
commentator, instead of the
Yeah.
actual Japanese track, but instead it's
Yeah.
like an American.
It's
Yeah.
an American track, and he's just saying all sorts of random shit.
Yeah, except we'll have it done in a foreign, like, you know, Spanish
Yeah,
or
yeah.
French over it. So it's us talking, but then two other guys talking over us instead saying.
We have to have bloopers and shit though, because they have to be able to like. You know, and look.
No,
Don't
honestly,
worry.
this whole
All,
show is
all
a
of the
blooper.
people here perform their own drinking. In that, we mean those are our stunts. We
Yes.
perform all of our own stunts.
You stunting?
Jackson is the rum stuntman. They are the pot stuntmen.
I'm drinking.
I am the coke stuntman.
I'm drinking not sponsored
Cola,
booze.
Coca-Cola. You have to
It-
preference that.
Not sponsored.
No, because it could be called Coke and it could be called Coca-Cola.
Yeah,
in
but-
the 1940s, they proved
Just
that with
don't
Sprite
call it
Boy.
late for dinner.
But in the sequence of how you said that, could have been perceived as. You know.
It works either way.
Well, I'm just saying.
So you're sitting on your own both right now? You got a big enough nose.
Is he a part of the clan too?
Does
No.
he control the
Not-
media?
No.
Not the Ku Klux Klan.
If I controlled the media, I wouldn't.
The long
I'd
nose
have a lot
tribe.
more money.
Shiesty Shylock.
As he was explaining the
As
account,
alliterations go.
as We were. I was trying to explain the accountant.
The accountant.
Who actually kills people.
No,
Does not do any numbers. I guess
It's a
body
s-
numbers.
as Jackson touched base on the account
Jackson,
before.
reel us back in.
And
Please, we were doing so
Totally
well
going
for
on about
three-
history.
We were doing so well for about 3.5 minutes.
I wouldn't even say that long.
It's got my sex life beat. Let's go. All right. So can we let's
Who's gonna
get
get shock-
dangerous? Serious?
Who's gonna get shock collars for us whenever we go off topic? Zach.
Gotta have some of that from your place.
We driving you to drink?
What?
We drove you to drink instead of driving drunk. We drove you to drink.
I've done both. I'm Irish.
So he is not a part of the clan.
He's quite the opposite.
Thank you.
All right. Now that we've established that,
Some lore there.
How the hell is that law? Irish, we do nothing but drink and gamble.
No, whenever you say like a personal
I
thing about
need the
yourself,
meat and
it's considered
potatoes.
lore.
all right. So
It's for
we
people who
touched
come
on the
back to
accountant.
watch over
We
and over
touched
again.
on
Pembleton.
Pembleton.
He
We
looks
touched
so
on the
disappointed
brothers.
over there.
We touched on
The alliteration.
the alliteration, both of them.
Some of the bottles and some of the ads. Yes.
Well, I'm just trying to get Jackson back into the swing of things. 'Cause
He's so far out of it.
he definitely is funny. I was going to say something, but he already hates us, so I'm going to keep it to myself.
The only
And
reason
Jackson,
you're safe
for
is
that, I
'cause
should
you-
get some fucking points, and I should get back on your good side. Because I did not say shit. Didn't say it. But
This is not whose line is it anyway. The points do not matter.
That's
gotta
actually
give it a
how
try.
it's whose line is it anyway doesn't works because the points never mattered.
there's no points in who.
Everything's made up of the points don't matter.
Exactly.
There's no points. You just say crazy shit.
So the points don't matter.
But I'm trying to get back on his good side.
There is no good side with Jackson. It's just whatever's slightly less angry.
You need
He likes
DM
to be
mechanics.
known as the angry
just
young
can't-
man.
You just can't go saying how your characters feel all willy-nilly. That makes me feel angry. That's a Futurama reference.
All right. So I want to get back on this show for another episode. So let's reel it in, because I do actually enjoy doing this. So
This is
can we
fun.
can we backpedal? Because this is my apology, my mea culpa to one Jackson. I'm trying to fucking be serious. I can't. You fucking laughing.
He just
Stop
keeps
fucking
staring
laughing.
so disappointedly at nothing.
I'm trying to figure out where to bounce back into.
Oh my god! Stop laughing. I'm trying not to laugh.
So when did they take the cocaine out of Coca-Cola?
Apparently not yet.
No, they've taken it out drastically.
Now it's fentanyl.
That might improve our.
Did you know they actually got into a tiff with Red Bull about this too?
Why is
No, about
why
a
is that?
decade ago, what had happened was Red Bull.
Excuse me, sorry.
Decade.
Yeah, it was about a decade ago.
Decade.
Red Bull, when they were
Back on the
first,
soft drink scheme,
they were
so
first
it's
using
cool.
like the
We
coke. They still had a little bit. They still had too much trace elements of cocaine in it because they didn't have. And they went to Coca-Cola and said, "Hey, how do we get the rest of the cocaine out of it? Because the FDA is starting to get pissy at us." And Coca-Cola's like, "Fuck you guys, we're not telling you how we do it. It's our trade secret." And Red Bull's like, "Okay." So,
Yeah.
So, is it
See, that's
true?
history.
Because have you guys seen Narcos? And I'm sure you guys have ever seen anything about fucking out of it. I can't even think of it. Fucking Colombian fucking drug lord.
Escobar.
Pablo Escobar. Yeah, thank you. Appreciate it. Pablo Escobar, they were talking about how he had obviously copious amounts of cocaine, so the stuff that was distributed in Colombia, because obviously so much of it is produced that it's produced all around the world. So there was some talks that the stuff that was from Colombia was cut with the cocaine for a while.
It's still in Colombia. They probably still use cocaine and coke because it's Colombia. They're not giving that out of their original formula. Why would they?
Because I know, like, I'm sure you know too, that since, as I just mentioned, it's distributed and made, produced all over the world. So before any of these
In
factories can actually start
32
producing
different
it.
countries it's made.
So
the
before,
most famous one, which shockingly is us, was because they started the first bottling plant and distributor in Atlanta, Georgia.
Yeah.
And
Well, I think the closest you could get to original formula is the Mexican one and the kosher one, because they use
cane, they use the
real
pure
cane sugar.
yes,
Yeah.
pure cane sugar.
yeah, which is the, so I've had them many times,
Oh,
but I actually just, my fiance got me the Sprite, she got me the Coke, and she got me the Fanta one. And the Fanta
are we
one,
gonna talk
which I'm a
about Fanta?
huge fan of orange soda in general. Fanta is one of my favorite ones. But the Mexican version is more of like a orange cream soda.
Yes, because they use
It's
pure
very-
cane sugar
yeah,
for
the
it
pure cane-
instead
and
of the chemicals that we use up
wasn't
here.
the original
And same with the Sprite,
German
and same with
Fanta apple flavor?
Fanta makes a bunch of different
Different
flavors that's
flavors.
distributed in other countries.
Well, I'm talking about the first one for Germany during World War II. I think the original recipe used apples.
For Fanta, yes. In World War II, Fanta officially was first an apple soda, which really not many people looked into. Coke also tried more recently, maybe a decade ago. That's when they came up with so many different flavors, was in like early 90s to early 2000s. In 2007, if you were one of the fortunate people to try their seasonal drink, cinnamon Coca-Cola,
which they re-released
Yeah.
recently.
they re-released that recently. Coke is still continuing to come out with new,
All
weird,
sorts of
different, crazy creations. They have one called Dream World, which is this flavor. They have one called Starset, which is supposed to taste out of this world, is their slogan.
Starlight one, which they
Yeah.
stopped making, which was very, very good.
Yeah. If
Yeah,
you
I
liked
liked
the taste of
caffeine
bubblegum,
ones.
Starlight tasted like bubblegum, at least to me. But-
I enjoyed the Starlight. I wish they still made it. I'm actually looking for a Starlight can for my collection
Yeah.
because I enjoyed the can. I enjoyed
You
the
had
taste.
a different flavor of theirs that came out with the DJ Marshmallow. I think that's his name. The guy
yeah,
with
I was
weird,
a fan of that
that
one.
thing,
weird
nobody knows
X's.
what he looks like.
Yeah, Marshmallow.
Yeah,
He's
Marshmallow
doing the
Man.
Daft Punk thing, yeah.
Whatever he is. They had a flavor specifically for him.
So you know, like,
And now, recently, to compete with that, Pepsi made, and do not try it unless you really love Peeps.
oh yeah,
They made a
they're going
Peeps
for-
flavored soda.
and
yes.
it's going for crazy money.
Yeah.
My buddy just bought it.
Honestly,
a bunch of them.
the one thing that I want Pepsi to bring back is
$11 for 20
Livewire.
ounce.
Livewire was the best.
Best.
You can
Yeah.
find,
So-
you know where I find it, or where I found it on military bases, but I can't find it anywhere else. I don't
Yeah.
know why that's a thing.
So, I'm sure you guys out there, listener, I'm sure you've seen those crazy fountain sodas, fountain machines that they have that create up to 500 or whatever
Oh,
crazy.
the freestyle things? Yeah, those are
Yes.
So you'll see them at like movie theaters. You see them at like big name places like that have a lot of traffic. So those things
fuck, my lighter
are
got
actually
thrown out of the mic.
monitored,
Thanks.
and they actually use those databases to create new flavors. And
Which-
they've created flavors that are on the market. They've taken them off the market. You see them.
Oh yeah, well they have like
And-
the special ones for like Moe's, like the Mozzarella and shit. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Yep.
And then also, I'm sure, I don't know if you guys know, I'm sure you probably know, but if you ever go to McDonald's, McDonald's has the best Coca-Cola because they specifically make Coca-Cola for McDonald's. They have their own recipe. It's strictly for McDonald's.
McDonald's.
Wait, so it's a special syrup mix?
It's
Yes,
especially
it's
for
a
McDonald's.
syrup mix, just strictly for McDonald's, because McDonald's was the first restaurateur, technically, because they're a fast food chain, but they were considered a restaurateur that bought Coca-Cola to be sold in their stores back in 1927. They were the first ones to do that in a restaurant.
Wait, McDonald's is. I thought McDonald's.
Technically, they didn't get the name McDonald's till later on, but they were the first restaurateur to buy that and distribute Coke over their shelves and from the fountains. But then it went to
Well, I
more.
figure Coke has some sort of stock and sway in McDonald's anyway, because they're
Well, they have
just like
stock and sway and a bunch
Pepsi
of different.
owns Yum Brands or whatever. Yeah, so he
Coke
established.
has a lot
'Cause
of
they're the
restaurants,
official
movie theaters. Coca-Cola even has their own concert series with Live Nation.
By the way, if you want some kind of all right stock advice, Yum Brands tends to keep relatively stable and up. So if you want some stock, go with Yum Brands.
Coke also has stock, which, if you'd like to sponsor us, Coke, again, we're here. Just, we'll take stock too. That works.
It's like, was it like when AMC was giving out free tickets to people who had like a little bit of stock or some bullshit?
We'll take free stuff. We like free stuff.
Everybody likes free things.
So, going backwards to the original branding and distributing of how Coca-Cola.
In terms of branding, I mean, they literally invented the modern image for Santa more or less and shit. I mean, as we kind of established that.
Yes.
And
but
the
there were
logo
a
itself
lot-
has kind of been around. I mean,
The logo itself has changed a lot drastically. It was Spicerian script is what they call their.
wait, it has his own special font type?
Yes, Spicerian script. It's SPICERIN.
Huh.
RIAN, I believe. And their font has changed drastically numerous times. It went from being thin letters to bubble font, which, those years were horrible for the bottle. You couldn't read the name. So you can understand, Coca-Cola used to have bubble lettering like Fanta. Could you imagine that for 8 letters? Don't.
Yeah, it seems a little excessive.
Don't.
Fanta's just the right amount of letters.
Exactly. Yeah, and it's not spaced out as much as Coke.
And you gotta take that dash into
Yeah,
consideration.
make all of this bubble. Do the
that's
same
awkward.
thing as Fanta, just with this. Then that's why they switched it to the Spicerian script like this. Each Coca-Cola can, variety, special, they all have different scriptures, which is why I wore this shirt is all of the different scriptures from the countries.
Huh.
There's a lot.
Which country is using the K down there?
Which one?
That one there, the big one.
That's Korea.
Oh, yeah, okay, that makes a lot of sense then. Korea with the K. Okay.
Yeah.
That tracks.
There's
That tracks.
a lot here. But the one that, and each country does their own special traditions with Coca-Cola. Philippines, during their treaty signing for the war, they had Coke. That was the sign deal. You sign our treaty, you get free this.
Interesting callback to the Philippines with, say, our guns episode, but Rock Island Armory actually has original Colt machinery from the Colt plant that was sent over there for World War II so they can make Colt pistols for the war effort. And then they were dismantled and then made back again, and now they're used for the. But yeah, so technically you are getting a Colt. It's just made in the Philip. It's a weird, but yeah. If you want to have a weird call over for a country in reference to our guns episode. Yeah. Wait, so does the Philippines have its own bottling plant over there or no?
Almost each country has their own form of bottling plant and their own types of bottles, which, if you'd be ever so kind, D, because you have a colorful bottle over there, and I don't have stretchy arms like Mr. Fantastic.
So that kind of touch on what I was saying before, which I don't know if I ever finished. I thought about
Oh
how
shit, that is cool. This one?
Yes. Is each country does a bunch of different types of their own creations for bottles. As you can see for this one, this is what Puerto Rico does for their bottlings. They paint theirs. So you get a little frog and their country and everything on the other side.
Flag.
Almost each country does some form of bottling like
The
that for a
Israeli ones over there have a
celebration.
seal on 'em.
That's for the World Cup.
Well, I was talking about the foil on it because it has that foil on top there.
Yes, this is for the World Cup.
Oh, I thought because it said it was from Israel or some shit on it too.
Yep. World Cup.
Ah.
But each country does their own types of bottles and font for like the celebration. They will not do every single bottle like that because it's too much effing money. Most bottles are done the same way, either green or clear silver or clear plastic. When it was just glass, you had a bunch of different types of color. They started out with clear silver, then they went to a light green, and then they
Yeah.
went to a brown. Brown was where people were like, is this still Coke? Because this isn't their color.
Which is kind of what the deal is now. If you guys have seen the new Sprite, how they've gone from that green tinted bottle,
Oh yeah, to the clear
and now
bottle.
it's a clear bottle.
It's a clear bottle.
And it's throwing a lot of people off. You know?
Well, when
like-
you poured it out, it was clear anyway.
yeah, but everybody's used to seeing that green bottle,
tint.
which
I think
they
it was-
associated with Sprite.
I think it was probably so they could separate themselves a little bit more distinctly from, say, Mountain Dew, because
I
Mountain
think
Dew
it
has
was just
green
harder
bottle.
to get the green plastic.
But Coke
Material.
has their
It's all
own
about
type
materials.
of
It's
tinting.
probably cheaper to get the green plastic
Yeah. See what
and
happens.
to not get the green plastic.
Well, if Mountain Dew switches to clear plastic, I'll believe it a little bit more, but whatever. In terms of whatever, some marketing
who-
motherfucker who knows way more about cost per bottle probably can vouch better.
Because certain things are just distributed by Coke. They don't technically. They might, like, I'm not saying Mountain Dew. I'm saying certain things
Well,
like
Mountain Dew's
bars.
Pepsi.
Yeah, but I'm saying
Right.
not Mountain Dew. But I'm saying like certain things that Coke distributes, they don't they might not actually own, or they might not have bought.
Oh, they're not fully.
They're not a full owner
Yeah,
of
they just
said. They're
distribute-
just a co-owner
just a
or
body-
co.
Well,
it's
don't they
just,
have partial share in Nestle too, or something like that?
Yeah, they have
Yes.
their hands in.
multiple different
But
companies?
Nestle's also their own individual thing too. Yeah.
Yes. So you
Also
have
evil
shared
as
companies with Coca-Cola as well, obviously.
Yeah.
Almost every company in the world does that.
Yeah, like
But-
you look at some of the cans, it'll say distributed by Coca-Cola.
Right. But they have so many different brands and varieties and flavors and everything
This
under
is the
their
product of the Coca-Cola company,
right.
Yeah.
and some will just say distributed by the Coca-Cola company.
Right. So you look into which ones say product of Coca-Cola, that's what they own. If it says distributed by Coca-Cola, they're a co-owner in theory.
That's why, like, the stuff that's from Canada will say Coca-Cola Distributing Company.
Right.
Because if it's from outside of the country,
Canada's weird with their shit.
it's just distributed through them.
Correct.
It's not. Like, for example, we're on Long Island, so out in Suffolk, they have the Liberty Coca-Cola Distributing Company.
Thinking of,
Sorry,
sorry,
what were you gonna say?
I was gonna say, speaking of local Long Island and beverage companies that are local, Arizona's based out in Queens, and I'm already seeing 139 for cans.
Arizona's
At fucking
are starting to go up.
7-Elevens and shit.
Yeah.
7-Elevens up charging their fucking Arizonas now. I don't know how they're letting them get away with that, but whatever.
It's
Well, because
called
the cans are going to
inflation.
start saying $1.25. I think they're going to start saying on them sooner, $1.10 or something. They're going to go up.
Arizona's still saying 99 cents on their Facebook page, so they're gonna have to fix that soon.
Oh yeah, they're going to.
Everything like that's gonna eventually have to get fixed. That's why Coca-Cola is like, you used to have a while back the 5 for $5 deal for the 2-liter bottles. You will not find that anymore.
Trust me, I know.
You will see 4 for $5 or
5 for $8.
yeah, those are your new sale prices.
5
Which-
for $5 was the fucking life.
Thanks, Obama.
But I mean,
Thanks,
we don't
Obama.
even got him to thank for that. It's literally you were
It's an
when
old meme, but it checks out.
we were in '90s. You had a bunch of good things. Once you hit 2010, it went okay. Activate the problems. Here you
I
go.
would have said 2001.
There's
but,
always
you
been a
know,
problem.
No.
Just been a different one.
a little late 2001, but yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we're still mostly on track here.
I think we're good.
I mean, we've been going. We're still talking about Coca-Cola and shit.
I think we've been lasted solid
Yeah, we've
3.5 minutes longer than my sex life.
Oh, Lord. But at this point, we'll have that as an add-on. The history of Coca-Cola and this man's bifunctions, or biological functions.
Lack thereof.
Putting out the fire!
But so
You like the Doors? Come on, baby, light my fire.
I remember when they got was it the Ed Sullivan Show where they got in trouble for that?
I have no clue.
Which reminds me, I have to get some maces and then turn those into nunchucks, so I have mace chucks.
Dear Lord.
Yes, can you imagine the potential?
I can imagine the death rate.
Well, as we established, I cannot kill anybody.
We have him for that.
You got a driver.
No, do not finish the bottle.
He's got a driver if he wants. It's up to him.
And there's the answer.
Well, that's why she's here, so if we needed a DD. You know,
See, I'm Irish. We don't need those. We just... Meh.
lore established.
Like,
So back to Coca-Cola. As we were saying, the
product line.
yes, was owned by. So they both own a bunch of stuff and then also distribute a bunch of stuff, and are also apparently own a whole feature film company that I just learned about today.
Yes.
And technically the Ghostbusters, apparently, which explains a lot. Now that I think about it. But then again, I ain't afraid of no ghosts, so whatever.
Don't cross the lines. In this case, don't add the cocaine to the soda.
Can I just ask, why did Vecman, right, Vecman, have, what's it called, on a date? Sedatives on a date. Am I the only one who found that odd?
He was testing something.
Problematic. It was the 80s. 80s movies are very problematic. If you've ever seen Revenge of the Nerds.
This solves a lot of problems.
Cocaine? Yes. It
Well-
explains a lot about the 80s, too.
Technically, yes. Cocaine with this solves a lot of problems because it wasn't the original formula. So, it still solves a lot of problems.
It
And then-
doesn't.
Oh, you said some words.
It's not in it anymore, but the drink still solves problems.
It doesn't.
You ever see those old-timey medicine bottles that said, like, cocaine, morphine, hemp extract, alcohol, and shit?
Welcome to Coca-Cola.
Man, back in the days, doctoring was lit.
Now it's bills.
But then again, I preferred back when it was doctoring, when you had the long, pointy mask and bitchin' Dr. Kane and hat.
During the plague.
Yes.
Pimping?
No.
I'm referencing, like, the plague doctors with the crow masks.
With the raven mask.
Yeah.
Ah.
Yeah. They would have the potpourri and that long nose, so this way they would have no smell of death.
It was also thought to keep away the germs, but... I mean, then again, just having a mask kind of kept away the germs, but...
So was that the mask we were supposed
COVID.
to wear for COVID? The giant raven mask?
Some people did.
Some people legitimately would walk out in those things, yes. I actually would carry an even bigger knife back then just to kind of be a dick. Wow.
Well,
Which
So
I'm
cool.
also trying to sell, so if you need a really big, unnecessary knife, I got you.
good for cosplay.
Not sponsored by big unnecessary knives.
Good for cosplaying.
Still not sponsored.
No.
Cosplay.
Any
Cosplaying's
Final
fun.
Fantasy cosplayer will use a big unnecessary knife. Have you seen their weapons?
I think you mean swords.
Or
Nice try, though.
Ward-like objects.
it could still be used. They just add more foam pieces to your
I
big
mean,
unnecessary knife.
if you get something heavy and sturdy enough, it can be a weapon.
That's true. In fact, give me your arm.
Honestly, if you know what you're doing, literally anything can be a weapon.
As stated, give me your arm.
Why are you hitting yourself?
I had to beat him to death with his own shoe.
Are you going to actually talk at the mic?
I had to beat him to death with his own shoe.
Where's that one from?
I don't know.
At least like 6 times louder.
I heard him.
To him?
Yeah, you might have heard him. But did they hear him?
It's from Wayne's World.
Oh,
Second
dear
one.
God.
Oh, it's been a while since I've
Wayne's
seen those.
World 2. You're referencing Wayne's World 2?
I mean, we've been referencing
is
a lot
wrong
of
with
weird
I am
shit.
referencing Wayne's World 2.
Party on.
Wayne's World 2.
Excellent.
Party hard.
That's like the worst Wayne's World.
No,
There's only
Eh.
two.
there's only 2 of them, and Wayne's
Plus
World 2
all the
is,
SNL skits.
is
Well, yeah, that's fair.
that's-
To be fair, the SNL skits were mid.
But they were still better than Wayne's World 2.
No,
There were some pretty solid bits in Wayne's World
Wayne's
2.
World 2 was a pretty solid movie.
I mean, it
But,
won't compete
you know.
with Wayne's World 1 and the hype of the Bohemian Rhapsody scene, but there's the poorly dubbed Kung Fu sword fight in Wayne's World 2, right? With the girlfriend's father.
There's
Pretty
a
sure
lot
that's
of
Wayne
there's a
World
lot of
War II.
quotable.
We were talking about Coke. A cola. Go ahead. Talk about Coke.
I mean, what's your favorite really weird commercial by them?
There's a bunch.
Oh, yeah.
Which era of commercials do you want to go into? They have ones with dragons. They have ones with raccoons. They have Geico shares a lot of their animal fantasies with Coca-Cola. For the love of God, the caveman was first used in Coca-Cola before Geico.
Did they have the caveman thing before? Really?
Yeah.
Yes.
Huh.
As it turns out,
And then it was like
Coca-Cola-
that 3-episode sitcom. Sorry.
as it turns out, Coca-Cola spends billions of dollars on advertising.
Weird advertising thing, but if you've ever paid attention to the Progressive Mayhem commercials, the injuries that they're actually in sync, and the injuries that he gets
doesn't
from the
recover
previous
from.
one, he still has in the next one and doesn't recover from. So his injuries progressively get worse and worse as the timeline goes on.
Which shows you, so does their insurance.
They're,
guess,
those are some of
technically.
the best commercials.
The Mayhem ones.
The Mayhem. That
Oh,
guy
by the
is
way,
awesome.
Flo, please fucking retire.
Ah, that's the worst. So
Yeah.
that's on the
For
other
the
side.
love
the
of
other
God,
side.
retire.
That's on the other side because those are the fucking worst commercials.
Oh my! And you know what's weird? She's actually not a terrible actress because she's done a few things. Like she was in a pretty good episode of House.
She was in House.
Yeah, she had a whole episode of House where she played the kid's mom.
There, Flo. Retire and take your money from just that one episode. We'll take Mayhem for the progressive
I don't know.
commercials.
Meatloaf
He's
did
more
that episode of
rememberable.
I don't even think she got paid that much money to do that.
She
Probably
got
not.
enough.
Like
I
I,
think
mean,
this
she
was-
got. But I'm saying as
This
far
was
as like,
I think this was just
spokespeople
before
go.
the Flo character kicked off. So she probably could have
It
gotten
didn't
more money
need to.
like a little bit later when the Flo character was bigger, but then again, you know, Progressive also had like the insurance one, the Aaron insurance. They retired her quick for reasons.
Yep.
Coke retired a bunch of their mascots as well.
For reasons.
Well, six
Slightly
of them. Six of them were animal mascots, which not
Are we
many.
getting the furries community involved?
The furries
Technically,
control the
yes
art
and
community
no.
now.
but
If you're a furry and you made it this far, congratulations.
Actually, you know, I'm not gonna whatever.
he's not wrong.
No, because
Look, I'm just happy if anybody made it this far.
whoever listens to this on mute in their sleep.
Well, yeah.
Call back.
But yeah,
A weirdly
you
specific
had
reference.
six.
Exactly one.
Yeah, you had a bunch of mascots for
Maybe
Coca-Cola.
two.
They had a lot of mascots. They still do some new mascots to this day.
Apparently,
Liar.
No, they have two new mascots since 20...
At the mic.
Sorry.
They have two new mascots since 2020. If you know Funko Pops,
Yeah, Funko Pops.
Yes.
Has
they have Funko Pops.
They have a Funko Pop, yeah.
Coca-Cola has 3 Funko Pops. They have the little guy that's a bottle
The
cap.
bottle cap, yep.
They have the one that's a bottle opener, and they have the polar bear one. There's still 3 of their most famous mascots is literally the polar bear, Santa Claus, and if you're an old collector, you look for Sprite Boy. Which
Are you old,
One
or
of
are you
the-
just a collector?
One of the
I look old,
I got my
so
last
we're
one.
counting it.
I would say one of the most iconic, like,
Pepsi Man.
yeah.
No.
We should see when they fight. It's on YouTube. Check it out.
Pepsi Man versus Santa.
Coke Sprite Boy.
Mm-hmm.
Oh God.
Hey, YouTube, check out YouTube.
That not sponsored.
Not sponsored.
The specific it's on. So it's specifically the videos on the channel, not sponsored.
But I would say one of the more iconic advertising pieces that they have, or like memorabilia or whatever, is the Coke bottle cap metal sign.
Yes.
That's like one of the more iconic signs that you'll see with Coke.
You know, a lot of people
Which
like
one's
to
that
try
one?
and find the old school coolers with
It's
the little
the
cap taker offers.
yes,
Yeah, that
which
one over here.
he has that right there.
Yeah,
We've got a couple Coke memorabilia in this area.
Yes.
Someone has a somewhat decent collection in this area. Which area? We don't know. Somewhere in New York.
And a location.
Yeah. I will not
In
be
the spot.
disclosing said information. I have a decent
place.
collection. If you want to see it,
the
you
bird
can
drones
ask
know where it's at.
in comments.
That's true.
But-
the bird drones do know where it's at.
Sadly. We
Did
have
you see that news about them using actual dead birds now for like
oh Lord.
for actually taxidermying drones?
As I said, I fucking called it.
Yeah, they go into the submarine tubes at night.
Oh Lord.
Liar.
But yeah, no. Have decent Coke stuff by us.
No, the other
At the
thing.
mic.
This thing?
No,
I
no.
bet.
The,
We have decent amount of Coke
Torch
stuff
thing.
with us, and
Oh yeah, here you go.
we'll have a decent collection.
Oh, you want to use? Okay, sorry.
yeah, I probably should have just.
But
Jesus, you two are so dumb.
Who's dumb?
You.
How dumb?
we don't need to go into that. He will have a whole nother episode for the history of dumbasses.
Wait, like the episode that he just had?
No, this
Or a
we,
different
we're on the history of Coca-Cola, but it's branched off to so many
Different
other things.
episode. I thought it was like
No,
that episode.
but Coke has a bunch of memorable
Okay.
memorabilia.
Santa
You
opening it
have,
up.
you can start with collecting really anything from bottles to the mascots to
Glass
coolers.
bottles.
Can't you take the glass bottles back to like the factory to have them refilled too?
For a certain cost, yes. Is it worth it? Not in reality.
I mean, if you want a full bottle for your collection, I suppose it kind of makes sense. But
Yes.
But it's not the original Coke that was in that particular
Bottle.
It's the
So-
current available Coke.
So, is there? Because I don't know. Is
No,
there a difference?
there's not.
Excellent. Thanks. I appreciate that.
Anytime.
in terms of like memorabilia of Coke, what would you think would be probably the most valuable piece?
It depends on the collector and the person collecting and collectors in general. But
Probably an original bottle.
yeah,
Or
original sign, anything signed by a creator is top tier.
maybe one of the original promotions where they started giving out free Coke samples.
You think an unopened can of New Coke?
No,
Yeah.
no. Anything from like 1950s and lower is a
So-
decent collectible thing.
So
So Coca-Cola has.
Anything that's like the 100th anniversary, 125th anniversary, anything that's an anniversary piece
Is
Maybe I'll say-
probably solid
is,
bet.
is
And there's
a
al-
good thing.
Coca-Cola is
At the mic, closer.
when Coca-Cola first started branding itself
There's
and
his
marketing
big boy
itself.
voice.
Huh?
There's his big boy voice.
There's my outside voice. Who's gonna use their inside voice?
improv,
Improv.
Family
So-
Guy reference.
Reference to the reference.
Referencing the reference. Are you gonna use
Counter to the counter.
All right. So when Coca-Cola first started branding,
There we go. Let's go. Keep talking.
when they started branding themselves and they started
yeah.
marketing them to the
So
it's
loud.
So-
getting, yes, just like that. Please.
So, besides the chance of death, if I was to drink an original bottle of Coca-Cola unopened, how high do you think I'll get?
At least one.
No. You won't have
Fuck.
a necessary chance of death.
all the chances.
No,
of death.
no.
Hold on,
They-
hold on. It depends on which original Coke is he talking about. Because the original Coke by Pemberton never had any preservatives.
Correct.
So
I'm talking about
that
the one
one,
with the cocaine in
you
it,
would
but,
die.
know.
Right.
If we're talking about Chandler?
Yes. Chandler Griggs's Coke that was distilled
Well,
and bottled by, well,
The
to
American
be fair,
Brewing
a
Company.
properly
Yeah.
sealed glass container can keep things relatively fresh for about 100 years, give or take.
yes. If you go to
Depends on where it's stored
anything
and
made
stuff.
by John
Depending
S.
on storage, and yeah.
You go to anything by John S. Pemberton, which did not have preservatives because, again, made in 1886. You don't have that within a week. Chances are you're going to have a severe medical problem like he did.
Well, all that
Gross.
stuff that's like, if you find one of those, everything's probably settled to the bottom and it's just like,
Looks
so you're
like
saying I just
goop.
gotta kind of
Yeah.
get the cocaine off the bottom there.
Well, what are you looking for?
I don't know,
high.
just kind of being silly.
I mean, that's what I'm thinking, right? High.
Yeah.
That's what you're trying to get to.
Everybody's
I'm
chasing
trying to
a
figure
higher.
out how far
Some
back
songs,
I have
right?
to-
fucking high. Even
I'm trying to figure out how far back I have to go where I could viably drink the cocaine and not die.
I would say
1901?
no more than 1900s, maybe 1910, because we are in 2023.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah. All right.
But chances are of finding that is very slim.
I
Because
figured.
most of those bottles are going to be empty. If you find a filled one, I would suggest not opening it because the preservatives will probably be bad and it will give you noxious fumes where you will pass out probably.
My
think
favorite
an
type of
unopened
gas,
Coke
the noxious type.
bottle
Plus, it's probably worth
is
at least
more
$1.
than a closed bottle of Coke.
What did you say?
I said, do you think a bottle that has the Coke in it is worth more than a bottle that does not have the Coke in it?
Yes. Anything that has the original product still in it or the original tagline and is not reproduction.
Well, that's
is-
what I was going to say too.
I think
'cause
he was
there are
talking
a lot-
about like first year with Coke versus first year without Coke.
I think just kind of
Both
having
of which
that
being full.
saucy syrup in there would be.
Okay, now
Which would be more-
Now I understand what you mean. Essentially, with that, they would be probably near the same amount. If it's a full can or a full bottle, it's going to be worth more than an empty can or empty bottle because it still has the product in it. But if they're both the same year and the same product and the same,
You know, some psychopath with a spectrometer could probably get the original recipe from that too. If
you have
We can get
crazy
flux
people.
capacitor and do it too.
Yeah, you have crazy people that
Liar.
come up with things that with anything. They're
Are you okay with that reference?
there's
No.
there's
Fact checker.
there's people that for
No.
for Doritos or Lay's or whatever chip company, I don't know which one does it where they have their
Posture.
fans come up with a different flavor
oh,
each year.
the Lay's one.
Where they're like,
yeah, those are always fun.
We'll give you, please come up with our new flavor, and we'll see how many people like it. One year they made pizza taco.
They
Like-
also had the one where they just put out. They sent out. I think it was Doritos. They sent out random blank bags of chips.
Right.
It didn't have any name. It didn't tell you what flavor it was.
By
Right,
the way,
I'm wondering. Coke
the-
had that where it was the year of instead of having, they're now on their League of Legends logoing tour for the cans and bottles this year, but they had a year where it was share a Coke with insert name here. If you were one of the people trying to find your name for a difficult name to find, like LaQuisha,
Oh yeah, when they had the share a Coke with your name on it and
yes,
shit.
share a
yeah.
Coke,
Share a Coke, yeah.
share a Coke with my name's fairly
Ladasha.
my name's simple to find.
Mine was
I'm-
never there.
I'm
Never happened.
Pat. I'm 3 letters and a command. Jackson, we can
Patrick.
right exactly.
Patrick.
whatever.
My name's
You could-
not Rick.
You could find
Who's
one with
that?
Jackson's name on it. You could find one
Whoa,
with
whoa, whoa, whoa.
Dee's name on it.
You could not find one with my name on it.
Jason?
Shut the fuck up.
Oh my
David
God.
was relatively simple.
It's
David
Jason.
Paul was not.
Yeah, Paul
Well,
was.
technically, Paul is my middle name. It was a distinguisher with our parents, but whatever.
Garrett, not so simple.
Mine's not
No.
anywhere. Mine's nowhere.
Yours is nowhere to be found.
It's not there.
Same thing with Jackson.
Yeah, they
Well,
had
technically,
names where it was
Jackson's
like
I saw
usually more of a
Jackson.
last
you
name.
could find it,
I think
but
I
it
saw
was like
Jackson.
a once in a million thing. Like you found one where it was, oh, we have share a Coke with names, and they had share a Coke with your boss.
Yeah.
Your
Share a Coke with a
significant
friend.
other. A
Yeah.
friend.
Yeah.
I was looking
That was
for.
Oh
recently.
my God!
That was
Could
a
you
recent
imagine them
campaign.
doing that shit now with the pronoun thing? People
Oh
go
my God.
fucking bonkers.
I was
Share a
waiting
Coke
for
with
the
a
one
they,
where I was waiting
with
for the one
Z.
where it's like, all right,
Them.
Yeah.
Zay.
Samuel
Where's
Jackson.
my Zay?
I was waiting for the one where it was for specifically for Samuel Jackson. I'm like, where's
Share
the
a
Coke
Coke with a
bottle that
motherfucker?
says "Share a Coke with a motherfucker"? Where is this bottle?
Oh,
And it's
man.
just it was
They-
never
you know what?
there.
They probably would have made if he had said
You're
something. They probably would have made a custom
devil,
one for him too.
Exactly. Nah, we just got share a Coke with blah 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 blah.
I mean, shit. He had badass motherfucker engraved onto his lights onto the prop lightsaber he took with him.
yeah, like, yeah, Coke has a bunch of different bottles, bunch of different memorabilia stuff, and
So like, I think
Even
we were
the-
mentioning about. So yeah, they basically put their fucking name on anything and everything that they can put there that you can imagine.
not like Spaceballs with Spaceballs the flamethrower,
Yeah.
Spaceballs the toy.
You know why they did that in
or
the
in real
movie?
life, Kiss.
Do you know
'Cause
why that
Kiss
was
is
actually a
the-
thing?
Kiss did the same exact. Kiss did the same exact shit.
Yep.
Kiss is branded on everything. Their fucking name is on everything and anything you can think of.
But no, do you know why they had that scene in the movie? Because when they got the permission to do the Star Wars parody from
Yeah,
George
they
Lucas,
weren't
he
allowed
said
to
you
do-
can't do merchandise.
Yeah, no merchandise.
There was no merchandise
There's
allowed.
no merchandise. They couldn't do posters or any of that.
Yeah,
crap.
they couldn't really do. Yeah, so so they did a whole big
They did
joke
a
about
bit
it,
on
making
it.
a whole thing about it, and then yeah, because there was no merchandise.
The Spaceballs.
Although they
flamethrower.
eventually did make merchandise because I think.
Now because you got to make money.
Well, yeah, but you could find
The
something.
kids love this one.
But yeah, no, that's why that whole scene existed and shit.
Yeah, and Coca-Cola. If you've watched a lot of movies, almost
It's
a
a-
lot of movies have Coca-Cola in them or in the backgrounds. Like as Garrett said, you have Back to the Future. They have Coke in that movie.
I saw the most I shared this to a group chat, Jack. It was the movie Torque, and it was the most 2000 and it was like 6 scene. It was these two hot chicks on fucking motorbikes having a fucking fight on motorbikes, and then in the background, one of them has a big fucking poster for Mountain Dew, and the other one has a big fucking poster for Pepsi, and they get into a fight on their fucking motorbikes, and it ends with like the one chick posing sexy on her motorbike, victorious in front of the Pepsi fucking giant Pepsi poster in the background. I'm like, it was all set to fucking Push It by Static X, and it was the most violently 2006 thing I've ever seen.
Yep.
And it was the original Mountain Dew too, and it said Mountain Dew instead of MTD Dew.
Yeah.
Which is-
MTN do, yeah. As if you have the original Coke, it doesn't say Coca-Cola on the bottle, it just says Coke. So if you're a person where it's like, I'm getting cocaine, great. That's not what it's selling, it's a beverage. If you want cocaine, don't worry, there's a
Call
whole
my guy.
Yeah. There's a whole movie about it where Bear gets fucked up with it.
Hey, that
So,
just came
Not
out.
but on
not
some-
sponsored.
Yeah, but on some of the
Cocaine Bear.
on some of the bottles, on a lot of the bottles, it says Coke on one side
And Coca-Cola on the other.
side. A lot of the bottles
Which-
have that.
That
I remember when the cans
started,
used to say Coke on going horizontal instead
Yes.
of vertical or whatever.
They started doing Coke and Coca-Cola on the glass and the bottles in 1940 when the mascot Sprite Boy came around. Yes, they got rid of Sprite Boy after 10 years because it disturbed children. Many children were frightened by this
I mean,
character.
the original Ronald McDonald was fucking disturbing.
Well, he's a different story.
Yeah,
But-
this isn't McDonald's.
A lot of original mascots were disturbing looking.
Yes.
Chuck E.
but-
Cheese.
Yeah, oh,
The
God,
Michelin
mouse.
Man.
Well, the Michelin Man I can deal with. He's a giant
Have you ever
tire.
seen the original Michelin Man cosplay costume?
No, thank you.
It's disturbing.
No, thank you. Just no.
It's just
But-
a dude covered in
You want to
tires.
see some creepy shit? Look up like 1930s like Halloween costumes and shit. They made some weird shit back then.
But Sprite Boy was literally displaying a soda clerk, and he was made in 1940, and his slogan was Coke, Coca-Cola. You can order it either way. You can ask for it either way. So people would go in and go, I want a Coke. And when they said it
No
on the
Coke,
street,
Pepsi.
was they went, okay, here's your bag. No, I mean the drink. Here's your bag. Because in the book, To Kill a Mockingbird, where the guy is walking down the street in the brown paper bag, he's not drinking alcohol, as everybody thinks when you read through the whole friggin' book.
Yep.
The man is drinking Coke from a paper bag with a straw and goes, this keeps me calm from all these delinquents.
I stopped reading because of To Kill a Mockingbird. It taught me nothing about how to kill any birds. It did teach me not to judge people based off the color of their skin, but that's not what I wanted.
Yeah. The books are lies.
That's a Simpsons reference.
You're not supposed to judge a book by its cover. Fine. Judge it by its back cover. Because half of the book is written on the back cover.
If it's a hardcover book now, they tend to keep it on the inside flaps of the dust cover, but whatever.
Still, read that section and you get a base summary of the book. So you don't have to waste your time with a 500 to 600 page book. And if it's one of those, like Lord of the Rings or Harry Potter or
Harry Potter.
one of those big franchises,
Oh, we can't reference that one anymore. It'll get us canceled.
Correct.
well, watch the movies.
We can't reference that anymore.
I
The big HP.
The printer.
Yes, HP printers.
We can't talk about HP printers anymore.
The internet
Yo,
says
Hewlett
no.
Packards, man, they make the fucking dopest computers, bro.
What are you saying over there? Dell? Dell is good.
Dude, we're getting a Dell.
No.
Lenovo.
No.
Lenovo's solid.
Lenovo's are pretty
You know
solid,
the dude,
actually.
Go with
you know
Omen.
the dude we're getting a Dell. That guy was like, he signed a crazy fucking deal to be the spokesperson for Dell.
Did he
in
really?
the beginning? And then he fucking
you
got caught
kidding?
with like some drugs, and they fucking revoked his whole fucking contract and shit, and he lost all his money.
I mean,
And that was the end of that.
considering what some other
There's some
paid
stupid weed
spokesmen who
fucking-
got a lot of money have been caught with and gotten in trouble for,
Just some weed
I
shit,
think
too.
drugs is probably the least of their concerns now.
Now, yeah, but this was
Subway.
a long time ago. The dude we're getting a Dell, that was so long ago.
I feel like nobody caught that joke.
Yeah, that's all right. Jared.
Yeah, I was making.
Jared
Subway.
from Footlong? Yeah, Footlong.
I was like,
Oh, he would give you a foot long.
Oh, he gave a lot of. I can't say.
People, foot longs.
So, anybody ever heard the fucking Chomo? Anybody ever heard Chomo?
yes, I know what that is.
You know what that is, right? Oh, because you were in the correction facility, so you know what the
Yes.
Chomos are. So,
You're a chomo.
you're a fucking Chomo. But does
Okay,
anybody-
let's
do you
not
know?
go around throwing that word and calling each other that willy nilly
Yeah,
because
because that's not a fucking good word to use.
a
Do you know
certain
what it
half of the
means?
country
No.
now hates or like
Nor do I
Chomo,
care.
Chomo is child molester. That's
yeah, it's prison slang.
So-
Basically.
Lovely.
So what I'm hearing is kick Garrett's ass.
well, you fucking called me first, so it was like,
I didn't call you anything.
yes, you just said you're a Chomo, and then I said fuck you, you're a Chomo, in response to you initially.
Nobody
calling me
here
that.
is actually that.
Nobody here is
Anyway.
actually doing that. I don't even know how we got on this.
Because I was
how did we
making a-
get here?
Because we're stumbling and I've tried
This
to make
is
a
not
joke
my
and then you
house.
just kind of, this is not my beautiful wife.
This is not my
Oh,
car.
Lord. We're going to get even that reference in. How many more 80s references can we get and find out from Garrett?
Don't worry. He grew up in the 40s. He's
How many
actually
times you-
84.
I grew
How
up
many
in the
times can you hit?
1400s,
How many
but that's
times
a
can
different
you? How
story.
many times can you map?
I'm from the 90s.
Meow
Did
10
you say
times.
map?
Meow.
Oh,
Did
we
you say
now have a
map?
cat.
Meow.
We're not talking about those either.
What, a map?
Yes.
We've
Garrett.
completely lost direction, so we need one of those.
No. A map is a certain anagram. I don't want to steal that word. They could fucking keep it.
To be fair,
Oh my
To be
god!
fair.
No.
To be
What
fair.
was in
To be
fucking
fair.
Jay and Silent Bob's trying to take back Porch Monkey?
Oh, God.
Yeah, from the second movie or whatever
Yes.
it is. Yeah.
Yes.
they
from-
start back.
The third movie's out already. Clerks 3. I was like,
It came
Yeah,
out in
it's-
October.
what?
I've been trying to watch it for since October, and
I mean,
I just can't fucking. It's good.
I gave
It's
up when I saw
okay.
the Jay and Silent Bob reboot thing.
No.
I don't
gave
think I
up
even
on that.
watched the reboot.
Yeah.
Where they strike back.
Yeah.
No,
Jay-
Jay and Silent
It's
Bob
just-
Strikes Back is okay.
Yeah.
It's just them
The
doing
reboot-
Jay and Silent Bob, but with adding their kids to it or something. Anyway,
Yeah,
whatever.
something of.
Don't get me wrong. Kevin
Federalization.
Smith makes good movies. He's no Tarantino.
Foot fetish. On wheels.
Well, no, because the thing is he's similar to Tarantino in
Sorry,
style.
foot fetish
in style
on
because,
sandals.
Well, because he also does the whole thing where his movies are very.
Where his movies also have foot fetishes.
No,
Yeah.
I was going to say referential and stylized and based off take from other movies, similar to how Tarantino does his movies.
It's
Where-
all one giant foot fetish.
Which one? Tarantino movies?
Yeah, Tarantino.
Yeah, that's.
Oh man, when I was first showing my now wife,
Congratulations.
thanks from Dusk Till Dawn for the first time, I was like, just remember, Quentin Tarantino has a foot fetish. Keep this in the back of your mind for the film. I was
It's
like,
not important at all.
Why
Just-
is it?
just
when
remember
somebody
that
has a
Quentin
foot fetish,
Tarantino has
that's
a foot
the worst
fetish.
to have.
and then
I have no idea.
I mean, there is a lot worse fetishes, as we've just kind of discussed.
As
a
we
minute
just
ago,
talked about.
but-
Yeah.
And then the Selma Hayek scene
With-
happens, and from Dusk
We'll
Till
just
Dawn, I
call
was
them
like,
the
see, that's
Explorers.
it. Dusk Till Dawn, great movie if you haven't seen it, by the way. I'm not spoiling it because if you don't know what happens in the film,
You're trying to snap.
see it completely blind.
Coke memorabilia.
Memorabilia.
quite expensive.
Depending on which ones you get into.
Well, because there's. Sorry to cut you off.
As he was stating the memorabilia. Yes, the fucking memorabilia. It can be expensive no matter what you get into.
Pardon me.
You have inexpensive, which. Go ahead, craft your own. You just need a printout and a fucking printer. You have a 3D printer? Yeah, you get a stencil. Yay, I have this tiny little dinky plastic Coke thing. If you want an original, look at flea markets, look at thrift stores, look at auction places, estate sales, because apparently you can find some of those there. But you have a lot to look to for memorabilia and history alone, which most of it's the mascots and collecting. So if you do go into the history of Coca-Cola, it's collecting. But you can find inexpensive and expensive.
Yeah, the knowledge part is just the power.
Knowledge equal power.
Not much.
Knowing
Power
is,
equal take over world.
knowing is half
Yes,
the battle.
Pinky.
So remember, if you have knowledge, you can take over the world.
Did you ever hear the fan theory about Pinky and the Brain?
What? Where Pinky is actually the genius?
and Brain. Yeah, the Brain's the insane one.
Yeah.
'Cause at
That
the end,
makes
Pinky-
sense.
It's always Pinky's.
Yeah, Pinky's always points out the fatal flaw and shit, and in the end,
And
some,
his plan always is the one.
Yeah,
that
the one
always
that-
usually works. He
yeah,
always,
the-
he always
his-
rectifies it.
Mm-hmm. Because
And the other one just kind of keeps going and going and going and going and going and going and going
and the definition of insanity is doing the same
and
thing over
going and
over
going
again.
and going 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 and going.
My favorite one was one where they went to the Titanic.
I forgot that one.
Yeah, because they were trying to get a certain species of crab that only lives on the Titanic, because a chemical in it makes it so that they can take over, hypnotize people. So they're
Which, don't
Remember the
worry,
episode where they
when
make
Pemberton made this, he said
So-
cure all for everything.
they were going
It will
to
cure
put-
hypnotism.
Wait. And the best part was to use the crab, they were going to put it into pancakes to hypnotize people.
Oh, lovely.
Why would you put crab in pancakes when you can literally make anything else with crab?
No,
and
we're
probably
going to
make
have
it
crab
work.
pancakes.
Crab
This is seafood. I seafood and I eat it.
Have you never had crab ragoon?
Yeah, honest to God, they probably would have. If they'd done crab ragoon, that probably would have worked too. Because apparently people fucking. I don't like crab ragoon. I'm not a fan of that when they put the cheese that they put in it, but like it would have
It's
worked.
fish.
Shellfish specifically.
Still a bloody fish.
You're a fish.
No, because a lot of crab ragoon uses like a type of like a cottage or ricotta cheese in the filling, and I'm not a fan of that.
Pretty cold.
Then just get rid of the cheese.
Yes, but that would require them completely remaking a whole new crab dumpling instead of one that they already have pre-done,
Then just get a crab dumpling.
or just have something else in general, crab related or lobster, which tastes better than crab in my opinion.
No, he's got a point. How did we get onto crabs when we were talking about Coke?
Pinky in the brain.
How did we get onto Pinky in the Brain when we were talking about Coke?
I stayed memorabilia and you wanted to. I love this.
That's a great question. Glad you asked.
We won't get an answer.
No, I'm turning around something on Jackson. He gets it.
Nope.
I think Pinky. Honestly,
You got booped, kid.
does Warner
And it
Brothers
wasn't
have?
Betty.
I think Warner Brothers has a stake with Coke too,
Probably.
because I mean, Columbia Pictures I think also partners with Warner Brothers a lot.
Do you know the original Animaniacs?
Animaniacs,
It's
the original,
time
just
for
kind of made fun of everything.
Animaniacs.
They also had
And
a lot of
there's
really great
82
adult jokes.
the max.
The nurse
So just sit
episode.
back and relax.
Hello, nurse.
Yeah, that
Great
episode for Hello Nurse
Animaniacs.
by Animaniacs. If you watch closely enough,
Come join
That-
the Warner Brothers and you'll...
that nurse episode
Warner
is
sister
the ladies they use in the Coca-Cola ads in the 1920s.
Was it really?
You'll laugh in the
Their
bring it
Brothers
back around
parking
again.
lot.
their dresses and everything for the Coke ads they used in Animaniacs nurse episode.
Huh.
For the Coke ads, they didn't call them nurses; they were the Coke ladies. But Animaniacs didn't want to call them "Hello, lady." They found that to be offensive,
Hello, nurse.
so they went to "Hello, nurse" because as he started it, it wasn't a beverage; it was a pharmaceutical, medicinal item.
That's a
Soda.
deep cut reference for them, but you know what? It tracks. Considering they made a whole deep cut reference to what's
The
it called?
Matrix.
The original. No, I was
Oh,
talking about with
God.
the pigeons when they did
Godfather.
Pigeons.
well, they also did a West Side Story too.
Yeah. They made a lot of references in Animaniacs.
As it turns out, that's like 90% of what they did.
Yeah.
No fingerprints. I
Now,
don't think so. Oh. Good night, everybody.
good night, everybody.
But